Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host
It is.
you.
It really is, man. It's a brand new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. And it's a blessing to be alive for another year.
Yeah.
And hopefully that the Lord will do great things in both of our lives and along with Real People, Real Voices. And it's also with WHMB TV Channel 40.
And we have to thank WHMB TV 40 and the family.
Right. All those who are in the truck and
Yeah.
behind the cameras. And
For making it happen.
Making it happen. And we're just happy to be privileged to be on TV and to share information with you in the community.
Right. I want to thank our sponsors, too.
Yeah, we want to thank Lee Cossack and Crawley. Make sure if you have some problems with where you need a lawyer, they would be the law firm to connect with. And Fervent Care, Christian Academy. Get your children started early, a good, clean place where Christ is promoted and education is paramount.
Yeah, give them a call today at 317-898-2751. And we have a wonderful guest today. We're going to be joined here.
He's no stranger
momentarily.
now. He's no stranger.
Jose Evans.
Jose Evans, yes. He was on one side, now he's on the other side.
Politician.
Politician. Par excellence.
And his book.
And his yes,
powerful
sir.
title.
Yes, sir. It's a good book. I know that title ought to make you want to read it. The Fear of a Black Republican.
Yeah.
The story of Jose Evans. We're going to get into that in just a few minutes.
I want to encourage you to continue watching on Sundays at 5:30 right here on WHMB TV 40. Check your local listings. And also check us out on Friday nights at 9:30. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by politician Jose Evans. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Happy to have you, Jose.
And thank you for your service to Indianapolis. And we want to get right into this, the book you wrote, A Fear of a Black Republican, the story of Jose Evans, forwarded by Robin Winston.
Yes, Robin Winston.
So I want to get right into this. Okay. What motivated the title? Because it's a bold title.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, so I played around with a lot of titles, but I really wanted to make sure that my message was loud and clear. And I think my history and how I became a politician and how I became, more importantly, a Republican, I think if you know the story, know the background, and people know all the things that I've done as a politician, I think fearing a Black Republican in this instance is more than just being scared. It's knowing the knowledge, knowing what a Black Republican can do, not just for locally, but for nationally and international. International issues such as education, criminal justice, social awareness.
I was looking at your table of contents, and you have some powerful areas in here.
And due to the conservation of time, if you could just share some of those, because we won't be able to ask him about everything.
Yeah, chapter 1, he talks about the real Uncle Tom, Hallville, where he was raised. In chapter 2, higher learning, transformation in his experience. Just a plethora of things. Entering the political science arena, just some beating the slate, which is a popular thing these days. Going against the grade is a popular thing in Democratic Party and Republican Party, and you won against the slate.
Yes, that's correct.
And so you got a lot going on, and you have Indianapolis, a tale of two cities. It is a tale of two cities.
It is. So if I can just expand on that, so the first chapter, the real Uncle Tom.
Right.
So if you know anything about me and my background, I'm known from Hallville, all the things I fought for. The day that I became a Republican was the first time in my life that anybody ever called me an Uncle Tom.
So as long as you came out of Hallville and was a Democrat, you wasn't Uncle Tom.
As long as I was, exactly. You know what I'm saying? As long as I was Democrat, as long as I was all the issues that I talk about, no one questioned my blackness, my dedication to our community. But it was as soon the day that I became Republican, it was a whole different issue. And it just made me realize just the power of just change. Change can happen for not just myself, but for people around me.
Well, how did you make that transition? Because you were a sitting
City councilman.
councilman, and you were a Democrat.
That's correct.
How'd you do it?
How'd you come to that?
Right. So, in the book, I talk about it was a process. In the first chapter, well, actually, in the introduction, I talk about some of the things that caused me to become a Republican. How I was always had conservative philosophies within me. Being raised Catholic, so I'm against abortion, limited government. Entrepreneurialism. In the book, I talk about how it was Dr. Joandra Kunjufu who really made me think about how, as African Americans, we should be doctors, we should own businesses, we should have our own property. So just kind of embracing those philosophies, those kind of what conservative republicanism is, as far as my political philosophy. In the book, I also talk about how, as a Black Republican, I believe that I can do more for our community than I would as a Democrat. So it's a really interesting. It's not complex, but it's a really detailed background as far as how the process happened. In college, kind of flirting with both Republican and Democrats, and in the book I talk about how I became a Democrat, and it was Cordelia Lewis, Robin Winston, Julia Carson, Frank O'Bannon. So I talk about all of those.
People who mentored you, you watched.
All of my mentors. Those are all my mentors. They're all mentioned in the book.
They mentored you as a Democrat, and you graduated to be a Republican.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
You got to get it somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
And that is a devastating. I guess that was devastating for you to be a Democrat and then transfer over or to transition to a Republican, and your friends.
Well, it wasn't devastating.
Okay.
It was a new beginning. See, this is why this book is so important. If you read The Forward by Robin Winston, Robin Winston, the first and only African American director of the Indiana Democratic Party. He was in charge when the Democrats held the governorship for the last time. Frank O'Bannon is the last Democrat in Indiana to hold that seat.
Right.
So so if you read the Forward by Robin, he talks about how it's not an end but a new beginning for not just political but for everyone. So it's a really deep book as far as issues, as far as choices. And just the formation of being a Black male and being a Black Republican.
Most definitely. The title itself is phenomenal. Fear of a Black Republican. And you could be pretty dangerous. I don't want to take that away from you. You could be pretty dangerous. So we're going to see what the future holds for you here in Indianapolis, Tale of Two Cities.
Yes.
I hope it will be something that you can work along partisan lines to where you can help Republicans as well as Democrats, because that's what I believe in many cases that the system is leaning towards. If we can find those mindsets that can understand that you got to work across the aisle to get things done.
I agree.
Anytime a person walks across the aisle and gets some things done and others in their party disagree with it, that's really something that is, to me, a travesty.
It is.
Because you need Democrats and Republicans to run this country.
You do.
And you need even to run this city. And so to reach across the aisle, there's nothing really wrong with it.
No, there's not.
Because you got to work together. Because everybody's going to have to vote in the end on whatever the proposal is. Has to be voted upon by Democrats and Republicans. And you got to go across the aisle to get it. You can get it. It's strange how when certain people go across the aisle, it's a problem, but when others go, it's not a problem.
Right. There have been folk from the Republican Party. In fact, this year, I think we had someone who came from the Republican Party over to the Democratic Party.
Right. Christine Scales.
Christine Scales.
Not much talk about that.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Not much talk about it because she's not much of a politician,
Right.
in my estimation.
Well, I know Christine Scales.
She's a nice person.
She's a nice person.
Yeah, don't misunderstand me now.
Yeah.
You know, to be nice and to be political is something
That's
different.
correct.
But I do want to ask you,
Yes.
Jose, a lot of times people will say, and we have about 1:30 left, they'll say, don't run as a Republican. And I've heard this said to other people. If you have conservative values, run as a blue dog Democrat.
And you can get in office.
Run in the party you can win in is what is said out in politics. So your thoughts on that kind of philosophy?
Well, so my thoughts right now is that's the issue that's currently being discussed within Republican circles is can a Black Republican like a Jose Edmonds win in Marion County? So the conversations have started from the governor all the way down to the precinct community people, and it's not the blue dog. It's can a more middle ground conservative, because I am a Republican, but socially, I am for justice. I'm for all people.
You bleed for everybody.
I bleed for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And none of the things that I talked about as a Democrat have I stopped. As a matter of fact, I'm able to increase it and push it further as a Republican. So people are talking, and this book is really is a starting point of different conversations.
Tell us where we can get this book.
You can get this book on Amazon.com, or you can go to my website, Jose-Evans.com.
Say it again. Say it in that camera there.
And that's www.jose-evans.com, or you can purchase it on Amazon.com as well.
All right. Well, we're going to read the book.
All right.
Have you back. Let's talk just a little bit longer. And we want you to stay with us. We got more to come. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we're joined by Mr. Gordon Holmes. Welcome to the show.
And
Thank you.
David C. Jones.
It's a pleasure to be back.
To be back. He's back again.
Yeah.
David said it's a pleasure. We're happy to have you too, David.
Thank you.
Believe me, we're happy to have you.
Talk to us about Mass Mutual Midwest and Special Care.
Special Care is a program that was started close to 20 years ago to address the needs in the special needs community, to plan and prepare for the future of loved ones that may have some challenges. Could be a physical disability, intellectual disability, that type of thing. And so Mass Mutual, represented here locally by West Point Financial, joined the program. And again, it's a program of service and support to the special needs community.
Outstanding. And what is the purpose of Special Care with regard to making sure that people can get it? How can people do that?
Well, we provide a lot of education, and so there's a lot of workshops and going out into the community all over the state to share helpful information to parents and families so that they can advocate for their loved one that has special needs. Whether it's pursuing government benefits that would be helpful or trying to plan for the future, but of course the focus is on quality of life for their loved one that has special needs. It deals with Medicaid, Social Security, estate planning, trying to provide for their future. And at the same time, much of the government benefits that families seek for their loved one that has special needs may involve some amount of means testing. And therefore, families, especially parents, have to be careful as to how they plan so that their child or dependent isn't left unable to qualify for benefits that are helpful, for their support or their care.
Brother Jones, tell us, how can it be beneficial to a family?
That's an excellent question. One thing that's going to happen eventually is that we're going to get older, and as we get older, we're eventually going to pass on. We want to make sure that parents of special needs children actually make sure their children are cared for after they're no longer able to care for them or take care of them. So that's one of the purposes of our program, of our initiative.
And what role does supplemental security income play with regard to special needs care?
Well, supplemental security income, often referred to as SSI, is a monthly stipend that an individual that's unable to work full-time and sustain or support themselves receives, and it's to assist with food and shelter expense. And that's one of the means-tested benefits. There's Medicaid for health care, Medicaid waivers, which are programs of support beyond health care, and then there's also SSI for, again, monthly stipend for food and shelter. And all these benefits are means-tested. So we have strategic alliances with attorneys, and we work with families to establish trusts. And families can fund a trust to help provide for the future of their loved one with special needs, and if done carefully, it doesn't have to undermine the family member's eligibility for these benefits, such as supplemental security income, Medicaid, Medicaid waiver services, et cetera. It's something we refer to as a special needs trust. They've been around for about 25 years, and we're very passionate about helping families, especially parents, understand the tools that are available to them to plan for the future.
Tell us how a family can create or organize a trust.
Okay. Again, we have strategic alliances with attorneys throughout the state, and so as a collaborative effort, we assist families with establishing a trust, and then we work with them as to how a trust might be funded. I mean, even a family that doesn't have means, sometimes through life insurance, by designating the trust as a beneficiary, funds can be created upon the death of a parent. So there might not have been resources to fund the trust during the parent's life, but resources can be created upon their death that then can fund the trust. The idea is that hopefully the family member is able to do, well, they're able to, through help and support, to do as much as they can for themselves, and then government benefits help. And then what we seek to do is to try to continue the parents' or the family's good works after the parents are gone, as David was saying. And yet if resources are left to the child, then an adult, they may lose their benefits. But through utilizing a special needs trust, benefits can be retained, and then the resources in the trust can pay for whatever the government can't or won't.
So is there a growing need for special needs care, and why?
Well,
We were talking about this earlier. Really soon, the largest population of individuals in the United States will be those over the age of 65. So definitely there is a need for those services to be offered. People are living longer, especially even those individuals who suffer from, for instance, Down syndrome. There was a time when people with Down syndrome would not live to be more in their 30s and 40s, but now you have individuals with Down syndrome who are living into their 60s.
They're getting a pension now. Not a pension, but they're getting Social Security at a high level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because they're living longer, along with the rest of the population, advances in medical science, et cetera, it really has created an increased need to provide for an extended period, a period that may extend substantially beyond the parents. In fact, oftentimes we find adult siblings are interested in engaging in the process, trying to make sure their brother or their sister that has special needs, that a provision has been made for them. In addition to that, there's an increasing rate of diagnosis in the autism spectrum area. I think the latest statistics show that approximately 1 child in 60 is diagnosed with autism. So it's a combination of living longer and this kind of swell of individuals in the special needs community that we need to provide for and need to plan for.
And how can folks get more information?
Well, we have offices certainly in the area. They can reach us by telephone at 317-567-2005. Email ghomes@financialguide.com, and there's also a website as well. So we welcome we welcome the interest. We're always happy to field questions, to be helpful. There is never a charge for families to come in to meet, kind of assess where they're currently at and what some appropriate next steps may be in the planning process.
Outstanding. Well, we want to thank you all for sharing your information with us with regard to special needs care. All the best, praying for your success. And we want to thank you for joining us on today. We still have the rundown. We'll be back to run it down after this. Welcome back, and again, Happy New Year 2019.
Yes. Take the Lord with you. Wherever you go this year, I guarantee you, you will be successful.
Absolutely. I'm James Jackson, your host.
And I'm Pastor Wayne Moore, your co-host.
And I'm Sherry Pick Davis, your executive producer.
I want to thank Fervent Care Christian Academy.
Lee Crawley and Lee Cossack and Crawley, excuse
Yeah.
me. That kind of twisted that.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, but go out and get you some attorney needs there, and they'll make sure you have what you need.
Super attorney. in
Yeah,
fact.
super, yeah. Nathaniel Lee is one of the Indianapolis prominent attorneys, does a job as a great firm there, doing a great job in Indianapolis.
A couple of great segments there with Jose Evans, politician,
Right.
and his book, Fear of a Black Republican. Certainly going to read that.
Right.
Check that out.
I read the small paragraph on the Uncle Tom, and the Uncle Tom was a good Christian brother. And it's something to read the definition of that particular epithet that has transitioned through the years. And so I'm going to read this book. It's a good book.
Yeah. And share your thoughts.
He's definitely a trailblazer. As we look at politics and where we're headed, someone that could put information out there for his generation and those behind him, just to kind of give them some good principles and a pathway, for those who also want to
20 years
move.
ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
20 years ago,
Unheard
nobody
of.
would have brought that title
Absolutely.
forward.
No, absolutely not.
And so that
And
is
probably
troubling.
nobody would have printed it.
No, no.
Yeah, but it's a new time. And special care, which was talked about in our last segment there.
With Gordon, Brother David.
Yeah, and what he says is true. We talk a lot about millennials, but it's the seniors. They're going to be the largest demographic.
Right.
They say by about 2060.
And it's the seniors who are literally keeping the substance
Yeah.
in our society vibrant more so than millennials are.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true for the matter.
I should say 2030, not 2060.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we get that far. In fact, I'll be in that number,
What?
that senior.
Yeah, pretty soon.
You're not going to say anything.
Well, they bumped the number up, so it's really kind of not fair because I'll be joining a few people soon myself. So.
Oh, okay.
Soon and very soon. Gonna join. The ARP has already been after me for
Yeah.
years. I finally got my card. We'll see you next time.